Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Echoes by Jigyansa, with a distinguished scientist who has an impactful career in the field of nanoscience and material chemistry. Today, we have the honor to talk to Professor Ashok Kumar Ganguli, who is the director of IISER Berhampur, with an illustrious career in the field of material chemistry and nanoscience. Sir has held key positions at IIT Delhi and been the founding director of Institute of Nanoscience and Technology, Mohali. Being a fellow of Indian Academy of Sciences, Sir's groundbreaking research has a great impact in the field of academia and industry. Today, in this conversation, we'll try to delve into his research career and his views on science education and research with India, and moreover, his role as a leader at IISER Berhampur. So, without further delay, let's get going. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the latest episode of Echoes by Jigyansa. So, sir, this is an interaction where we try to talk to people in science and we try to communicate it to people that what goes in science and what people do to make the society better. So, starting with, sir, we'd like to have an idea that how did your journey start? How was your early days and what inspired you to start have a career in science?
Like most of you, I went to school and I studied in Delhi, and it was an English medium school till class 10th, and then I changed my school to another school which was a government. First was a private school, the other was a government-aided school. In the first school till class 10th, I had classes in biology, chemistry, physics, and I had interest in science, and I was motivated towards chemistry, especially by some very good teachers in my class. And in general, I used to like maths, physics, chemistry. I was not so keen on biology. So my interest started in school, basically because of some very good teachers in my school teaching science.
So, sir, like delving into your laboratory, what goes on, what research particularly are you interested in, and how do you carry out the experiments, and what particularly are you interested in, sir?
So I am interested in basically designing new materials. Yes. So as you know, all around us we have materials which have different applications. So I have interest in materials which have applications in energy conversion, also superconducting materials. These are two broad areas of research in my lab, and I start with synthesis, like making new materials, trying to find out the structure of the new materials. So to find out the structure, you use a lot of techniques like X-ray diffraction, electron microscopy, neutron diffraction, many such techniques. And there are properties, we use a lot of techniques like electrical measurements, magnetic measurements, optical measurements. There are a host of measurements that we do to understand the properties.
So, like, are there your materials, have they been used in any practical, there has been any projects?
Yeah, we particularly one project I did for DRDO long back. There are many materials which have applications, but one particular material we developed for DRDO, and that was being tried by DRDO. They took it up later on that.
So, like, what is your current thought on how India is doing in science and technology? What advancement do you expect? What India can do better in the field of science and technology?
So India has, as you know, is now recognized as a global knowledge superpower. Over the years, there's a lot of development, and it is now known that we have a lot of good human resource and very good training and some very good institutions in our country. But for the size of our country, I would say still such institutions are less. So that is one thing. So we need more institutions at the top level doing high quality research and teaching. The other is last 10 years, there is a lot of research which goes into industry. That has increased in the last 10-15 years, and it will grow continuously. So you will see a lot of the scientists having industrial projects, which was not there or very less, say 30-40 years back. And that has increased a lot, and that should increase further so that we can solve the problems locally and we don't have to import technology, etc.
So it so happens that usually people in science, at least in India, they prefer to have their studies abroad and they prefer to stay abroad as well. What improvements can be done so that we can attract people to stay back at India and do their research to help India improve in the field of science and technology?
So there are two reasons. One is, as I said, there are a number of institutions at the top level are less for a large population of our country. And so sometimes some people who don't get the best institutions go somewhere else. The second thing is that many people who are trained well continue to stay abroad because there are not enough opportunities to where their knowledge or their skills can be used profitably. So we lack a lot of industries because universities we don't have that many people taken at the university level, and so we need a lot of industries to participate to accept such people who are trained at the top, so that in level of the type of industries that you need to absorb such science postgraduates or PhDs is less in our country. And so that number is increasing, but it has to grow further, which can absorb that kind of factor.
So do you feel the funding and the budget allocation matters, and this can be a reason that science is not encouraged enough? On the current scenario, the budget allocation of IISERs, how do you think the budget allocation of any institute such as IISER or IITs pave a path about the research going on in the institute, and how do you see the budget allocation going on in the future as well?
See, budget allocation to IISERs and IITs increase is one thing. It's good if it is increased. A reasonable funding is given to IITs and IISERs. But as I said, these institutions are few. But if increasing budget, of course, we can add to new centers of excellence and new things, etc. So that more important is to have more institutions which can have this quality of a scientist or faculty. That number has to grow. And then accordingly the budget can be given to them as is being given or maybe increased in the current institutions. So you need more institutions of that kind, and also budget can be increased. Normally the top countries in the world have a percentage of GDP like 2%, 3%. In India, that has to be increased. It is right now close to 0.65% of the GDP. That needs to be increased to some extent, and that would help. But another thing is to increase such high-quality institutions also to get high-quality faculty to join such institutions. But it is not only the institution. There are other things which also attract the faculty, because person has to live not only in the institute, has to live in the environment. So there are other things like schools, colleges, hospitals around institutions which have to be built.
So, but in India, science has always been given as exclusivity, that okay, this person studies science, and somewhere that abstains people to pursue science. And do you feel that is also a problem that we are facing currently?
I didn't get it.
people usually, if, there has been the okay, this person studies science, this person is not into science. There has been a separation between the people.
But that is not important. There are maybe, see, in the top tier A city like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, it doesn't matter actually. You can be a very top person doing finance. So I think your question is like that. Science is given a higher this thing, but that's not true. In the metro cities, science is behind. Maybe to some extent in doc medicine is there and engineering to some extent. But I think in all the metro cities, the more developed the city, like Mumbai, there are less students studying science. That's why, in general, the more commercial centers, they have more students studying finance, banking, insurance, and other things. Those markets are much high. Whereas science in India, at least, is right now, most of the students are coming from B towns and C towns, not the Delhi, Bombay, and Bangalore and type of cities. So it is not true that if you are not studying science, you are booked down upon it. That's not correct.
So, sir, coming to science research again, IISER as an institute and other institutes as well promote interdisciplinary research. And from the starting, we have always been told that interdisciplinary research should be promoted. So, what are your thoughts on interdisciplinary research, and how is our institute promoting it?
Yeah, interdisciplinary science always tries to solve problems. To solve problems, we need all kinds of people. So it has to be interdisciplinary. But of course, when you study a subject, you study physics, chemistry as subjects separate. But when you do a research problem, there is no physics, chemistry, or engineering. You have to solve a problem. And that, if it requires some physics background, you talk to a physicist. It needs a biology background, you talk to a biology person. So all problem solving normally is done by a team. And all the big challenges are taken up by a team which has people from different backgrounds. And as you see, the top papers or the top products have been developed by multi-institutional, multi-PIs. That means there may be 20 PIs in the project, 10 PIs in the project, 5 institutions. You see most nature papers and all, very few will be from one institution. It will be an inter-institutional effort. All the big projects are given to multi-institutional projects.
So can you highlight some of your work that is mostly interdisciplinary, and you have collaborated with any other labs, which something out of your zone?
So my area actually is borderline in physics, chemistry, and material science. That itself is interdisciplinary. I studied chemistry, but then I can teach many subjects of physics also because I learned on my way. Material science also I can. I was joint faculty in material science and chemistry department. And over the years now I have learned to appreciate biology also. I have published papers in biology related applications. And you are talking of collaboration. I have had collaborations with many people all over the world in physics department, biology department, in medical school. I have papers jointly with mechanical engineers, civil engineers. I had MTech project with a civil engineer. I had a student who has papers jointly with 3 schools. So my work is a lot interdisciplinary.
So, sir, coming to science communication, what do you feel how important is science communication, and what is IISER Berhampur doing, and how is IISER Berhampur promoting science outreach and science communication as of now, and what are our plans?
Yeah, science communication is very important because what scientists do, if it is not explained to common people, Many people do not understand, even those they are engineers, doctors. Many don't understand what is research. So they are educated, but they are not knowing what research actually means. So science communication can be at several levels. You can improve the interest in science to school children. That is one level of communication. You can showcase what advantage scientific research of some kind is to attract funding from industrialists. And you can showcase how important is science for society. If you can able to convince, you can get endowment funds from industrialists, etc. So it is very important to do science communication, because science, people have to understand that science affects everybody. Even if you are in village, even the quality of road in a city which is by the sea has to be different than the quality of road which is away from the sea. The simple concept of, how salt affects your concrete and all that. How it affects the steel, so it goes in the houses. So you need a different kind of coating on the surfaces to protect those things. So this common man will not understand unless you explain. So science communication is very important. And there are some scientists who are very good workers that is, they can do a lot of plan very good experiments and things like that, but they may not be good communicators. So teaching and doing research are two different things. And you can be sometimes a very good scientist, but you are not very good in bringing out what you want to explain to the person in front of you. Also, it depends on who is in front of you. You have to change the way you have to talk. The same subject or same thing has to be explained in different manner to a school student, to a college student, to a PhD student, to an industrialist, to a common man. So it is the better the communicator, it is better. But then science outreach is something which there are people who are very good at it. Some people are not so, they are very good in science, but they may not be able to communicate so easily.
And sir, how is our institute promoting?
So our institute, we do a lot of outreach. I think we have Science Day celebrations. I think we have a lot of clubs, scientific clubs, and they do a lot of outreach. And then we also call students, and we do 2-day programs, someday 1-day program. So we have a lot of outreach events, and I think many of our faculty, including myself, we are all involved. I think your club is involved in this. So IISER promotes outreach in a big way, and we go to even village schools. I have myself gone to village schools and given lectures, and we give books. Sometimes we give in Odia and Hindi here. So IISER promotes science in villages and schools and colleges. And also we have done outreach for science teachers. We have Kendriya Vidyalaya teachers come to campus and have stayed here. We also had, we were planning to call Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, but the timing didn't match. So we are planning many things like that.
So sir, we are very eager to know about your experience as a student. We all are aware of your advisor, Bharat Ratna Professor CNR Rao. And sir, would you like to highlight any of your experiences with him, any memory you are very fond of? And how was your experience working with him?
Oh, I learned a lot of things. Most important, I learned discipline. And I learned that you need to finish a problem, write a paper and publish. I never leave, that's the thing. I also never leave any problem hanging. I always complete and I publish my work. And I have a very good rapport with my students. I sometimes are very tough with my students, like my professor was. But I am also very friendly with my student. And once the student graduates, I try to see that the first postdoc he always gets, or a first position. So I learned all this from my professor, that I have to take care of my PhD students, and I have group meetings every weekend around, mostly on Saturdays is the day I have group meetings with all my students. And these are several traits, and I used to always take my students out for dinner, sometimes coffee every week. After the group meeting, we used to go. When I was in IIT here, of course, it's a little different. Maybe I will start once now. This has happened. I have less students here, but in IIT I had many students. So, and many things I learned from him, that you have to be diligent. There is no substitute for hard work. Intelligence takes you somewhere, but beyond that, you have to use hard work. And he was very tough, but at the same time, he can always forgive mistakes. So he never used to keep in mind for long something you have done. I also learned like that. Somebody can do a mistake, but you have to give him another chance. So that's the thing.
So, sir, like being the head of this family of IISER, what advice would you give to our students that how can they maximize their time here in IISER? How can they be more productive, and what better they can do to make it fruitful once they are out of this institute, once they graduate from the institute?
So one thing is that you have to be focused on what would you like to do. You must know what you like to do. And then only you have to work hard. So if you like something, then when you work hard, you don't feel like that. You can work overnight. I have worked overnight. Even now I have worked overnight at this age several times. I have not slept. I have to give a talk or something. But the point is, you must enjoy that work, what you are doing. Then you can spend that kind of time. Otherwise, you will not enjoy. So you have to like what you are doing. So that is my thing, that you find out what you like to do. You like to do a PhD. You like to do a job immediately after master's in a medical company or a research lab. Or you would like to become an IAS officer or a management graduate. You have to know what you like. Every job has its challenges, and in every job there is room for growth. But every person is not geared to be for a particular job. You have a particular interest. So, for example, I have seen corporate life also. I worked in a company after my PhD. But for me, I don't think I would like to be in a company-related R&D. I would like to be in a research university kind of R&D. Company type of R&D is like you have to develop this product. So all the time you are focused on something, and it's good because they come up with patents and products and all that. But my type of mindset and temperament is to be in a research-driven university like IISER or IIT or something like that, and I also don't want to be in a small institute where only research is done. I want to be in a university where a lot of students are there. I can teach or something. Right now I'm director, but still I have taken class So I like to teach also. If I am just a professor, I would like to teach as well as do research. So I would like to. Was that question? And what was the other thing you said?
See, how would they maximize
the... So first is the focus. That means what you like to do, you should know. Then once you are there, there will be different phases of your life. So which phase, how many percentage of your time you will devote to work keeps changing. Okay. When we are young, we have some time. When we are in the middle age, we have some time. When like my age, you have some time. And you have to apportion that time. And you have to have a good work balance because there is no end to work. If you want to work, you can keep working. So you also know when to have a break and things like that. So you must have a holistic character. You must have a personality, which other than science also, I would say, has some other hobbies also, sports or music or whatever. So you can be a holistic person. And this is my perception. There can be people who only are driven by their passion for science or mathematics or whatever to do. But I would like to also do something else along with my science. But how much time you will give is you have to plan it. And that changes with time in your life.
Apart from science, what else do you do? What are your hobbies?
I like to hear songs. I like I like thrillers. I watch some movies. I like English movies because they're Hindi movies kind of, you can become predictable, answer kya hai. So I like, normally I like English movies which are thrillers or they are true stories. I like true stories. And I like also somebody's life history of a famous scientist or a famous writer. And I like to see places. So I like to see a movie on South America, say shot in South America. So those are my hobbies. But apparently I play sports, I play cricket. I used to play football. Now I don't have energy to run, but I like football. And I play cricket. I used to play hockey. So I was a sports person till university. I played in my PhD also. And my passion is mountain driving. So I drive in the mountains. Even now, if I get time, not getting time after I came here 1.5 years. So I have driven in Himalayas and all that. So I like mountain driving.
So how do you balance your being in official position, also justifying the position and looking into your research as well? How do you balance it out? How?
So, as I said, if you want to do multiple things, you should be ready that you have to spend more time. So because I am doing research and I am a director, I have to put in effort much more than a normal director who has no research lab or no students. Because I have to see, my student cannot say that I did not give time. So no student of mine can say that. Before he or she expects an answer, I respond. So that has been, my professor was also like that. He was Bharat Ratna, he was advisor to Prime Minister, many things. He was a fellow of I don't know how many academies. But he will never, he had many students, he would never keep any paper pending with him. If you give a paper to correction, he'll come at to me. Same thing I also followed. My student cannot complain that I have not corrected a paper for mankind. And my student cannot complain, he has asked a recommendation, I have not given. I will give it very fast, within 1 day or 2 days. Mostly within 1 day. So for that I put effort. Suddenly, night 3 o'clock, I realize that this recommendation has to go. So I will wake up at 3 o'clock and write the recommendation. So whatever you say, God has been great. I have time. My daughter is well settled. My wife also is working. So I have been given the right time in my career to devote time to science and to build institutions. So this is the second institution I'm building. So if I had, suppose my mother was old, living with me, I have to take her to hospital regularly, it might have got affected. But all that I did when I was 40 years old. So my parents were old at that time. So it depends in which part of your career you have to take care of your family and elderly people and all that. Sometimes you have to balance that. So I have got a lot of support from my wife, and I took care of my parents. They were living with me. Of course, they passed away when I was 37 or 40. But now everybody, my daughter has got married, gone away. So I devote all my time I have.
So we'll conclude with this last question, sir. So, if going back to time, if you have this one piece of advice for your younger self, who is an aspiring young researcher, what would it be, and what would you advise your younger self in the field of research?
What would I advise myself as a young researcher? So that I'm actually, I am very happy with what I have become with the background I had. Okay. It could have been that if I were younger again, I could have taken my undergraduate much more seriously. No, I was very good student, but I could have done much better. Even in my school, I realized that I am better than many others in 11th class. I could have done much better, but I was not studying. In 7th, 8th, till 10th, I was not studying. But I was getting good marks, but I was not coming first. Only in 11th, 12th, I realized that, and I came first in the class. So I had more potential than but nobody told me that. At that point of time, nobody told me to channelize my efforts in a particular direction. I could have probably maybe different or better, I don't know. But whatever I had training, I think my best part came out was when I really did my PhD and then my postdoc, and then I worked very hard at IIT Delhi, where our infrastructure was very ordinary. And then at those days in 1990s, and built our lab from scratch. And but today India is very different. Even in Indian Institute of Science, where I was doing PhD, CNR Rao was professor, we had very ordinary labs. And only when Professor Rao became the director of the institute, he got a facelift for entire Indian Institute of Science. So we had very limited and ordinary facilities even in Indian Institute of Science, not competing with the best. Today, many IISERs and IITs and IISc have the best of facilities in many universities. But in 1980s or 90s, India was not having best facilities even in the best places. Even IITs and IISc were very ordinary facilities. And IISc also in 1980s and other. So IISc was changed by CNR Rao. All departments had new buildings, new infrastructure in 84 to 89. And then Government of India put a lot of money in IITs and research level, because now last 10 years, 15 years only, the thrust has come that more research should be done in IITs, and of course IISERs are only 15 years old. But earlier IITs were meant for producing BTech students, right? So the thrust that research should be done. Only research will bring in high-end equipment and all that. Thrust came only last 15 years, maybe 20 years, depending on IIT. IIT Kanpur had that thrust earlier, but IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, that thrust came in the last 15, 20 years probably. And IISc, it came probably in the last 35 years. That is more modern equipment, more modern equipment. But today, many of our labs are world-class. In many institutes, not all labs, but in some IIT, some labs. In another IIT, some other labs. In IISc, some labs. We have world-class labs in some of the percent. A lot of money has come.
Thank you, sir. The conversation was very insightful.
Okay,
Thank you for having us.
I hope I could answer your questions